all know why PMOs are important to a business. It's better control of time, of budget, of scope, greater identification of risks, strategy, misalignments. But we've also probably been part of PMOs that haven't really hit the spot. They've gone a little bit wrong. And there's a number of reasons for that. The Association of Project Management recently said that PMOs have the highest failure rate of any department in an organisation, with an astounding 50% of PMOs closing within the first 3 years. It's quite a stat. And there could be multiple reasons for this. It could be down to tools, it could be down to processes, it could be down to people involved. But if you look at that time scale, something suggests that it's a little more strategic than that. Is it a lack of understanding of where the true value of PMO lies? Is it a lack of investment or direction from leadership on how they want their portfolio to run? We're always being told that we need to deliver more, cut costs, and be more agile and more responsive. And absolutely, that's what everyone in this room is trying to do. But sometimes you just hit the same result over and over again. And that's where PMO as a service can help. It's about taking those elements, performance-driven, cost-effective, flexible and scalable, and trying to deploy that into a model that helps define what your PMO does and how you deliver. There was an interesting article in the Harvard Business Review recently, and it was sponsored by Deloitte. And it was talking about the next generation managed services and how there was anyone in the audience read this article? No. It was talking about how we're moving from traditional outsourcing models to newly formed operate models. And it was talking about, the catalysts of drivers for that, things like scarce sought-after skills, increased disruption of technology, and the increasingly risk and regulatory environments that organizations are in. And essentially what it was saying is that cost is no longer the main driver. Now, don't get me wrong, it's important, but every organisation is just taking that as a standard. Companies want more. They're looking for increased revenue streams. They're looking for an increase of customer satisfaction, improvement of employee productivity. They're looking for value. That's the main driver. It's a really interesting article, so I highly recommend you check it out. And so what are the characteristics of a PMO as a service? In truth, a lot of it remains the same. So the work is what we're already doing. It's our governance, it's our rate, it's our financials, it's our planning, all of that. But it's how we package and deliver it to become as a service that actually delivers you the different value. So if I talk about 5 different elements. 5, PMO specialists. People who understand PMO really well and have done this in a managed service approach. Having a robust service catalogue. What does the PMO do and what do you not do? And making sure that everyone in the organisation knows what that is. Scalability. Having a core set of people, but being able to scale up and down to what your portfolio needs. We've got massive programs over the next, 6 months, and we're going to need 50 people. After that, nothing, right? But what you don't want to have to do is worry about how you manage the logistics of that. With an as-a-service approach, you take away a lot of that stress. Rapid startup. A lot of PMO as a services are utilising PPM tooling to allow for more rapid startups of a function. And all of this is bundled into a managed service ethos. Always looking at the PMO as a service and wondering, how can we improve? How well are we doing? And what is our alignment to strategy? I mentioned as well some of the benefits that was mentioned earlier, and there's 2 main ones to PMO as a service. One is improving operational efficiency, and the second is reducing cost. So a lot of organisations are entering multi-year contracts with managed service providers that allows them to have a rate card that's set over a number of years so they have a better prediction on their costs, and that's a reduced cost. And improving operational efficiency. So you've got PMO SMEs who are used to doing this, to defining and implementing PMOs as service models. And also think about how you can hold a supplier to account in ways that sometimes you can't always your own employees. I mentioned at the start I also want to talk about what PMOs as a service is, but what it isn't. And this is one of our earliest learnings around PMO that I wanted to show to you. We were in discussions with a financial services company, and they were implementing a regulatory program. It was global, it was complex, it was a nightmare, pretty standard stuff, right? And they decided they wanted to implement PMO as a service. Fantastic. But they took the as a service piece a little too literally. So when they decided that they wanted as a service, they literally meant as a service. X number of governance packs times the price. X number of people onboarded times a price. X number of meeting rooms booked times a price. It was a nightmare. It was inflexible. Imagine trying to write down all the admin and the governing of that. It allowed us to not jump into any situations or solutionize or support the overall change delivery. It provided little value. And it led to the PMO being seen as an administrative function and a really unhappy and unsatisfied team. So needless to say, we haven't operated like that again. Now you might be wondering, does PMO as a service work for your organisation? Or how can you take little bits of it and apply it to what you already have? So what I'm going to run through is a couple of factors that we keep seeing from our clients that are discussing with us and some of their pain points. PMOs working in silo, no one working together, individual people doing their own things on their own programs. For those that have quite a lot of contractors, there's IR35 implications that they've been worried about. Because you've got everyone working in silos and doing their own thing, you've got different sources of the truth. There's no alignment to standard RAG definitions. There's no portfolio view of what everyone has within that, within their programs. And that leads to inconsistent and resource-heavy governance structures. Governance for governance. You're putting crap in, you're getting crap out. We've all been there. Inefficient pricing models, not being able to define how much their PMO is going to cost them over a number of years. And the need for scalability without cost, without having to recruit and do onboarding and offboarding and train people, and they just want to have good PMO specialists fast, but they also want to get rid of them fast whenever they don't have the demand. And I mentioned the PMOs working in silos. Because of that and everyone being recruited individually, whenever they've finished their job, they go, ta-ta, bye-bye now, thank you. But they don't move across the organisation. So you're continually losing in-house knowledge. By having a PMO as a service, you're always looking at the wider picture and going, oh, that person's about to roll off, but this is about to start, or that needs help. Why can't we move them across? So a way to retain that in-house knowledge. And increase in long-term capabilities of the PMO that exists within the organisation.